dress you up in my love. All over. It's not even the same song.
Doesn't even match. Tempo's all off.
Madonna, don't sue us, but if you do, no. Please don't sue us.
Rob, thank God you're handsome and you can weightlift, because singing you is not in your wheelhouse.
I didn't say it was.
You know what? Actually, I think you do have a pretty good. You would be a good like bass. You know, like if you were in choir.
Yeah,
you'd be a good. You know, you'd be like la 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 la. You do good in opera, I bet.
I'm a baritone tenor, darling, and that's all I do.
Oh, really?
Guys, we had a hell of a weekend in the sport of professional wrestling, or in the arena of sports entertainment, depending on what your fancy is. Two great shows this weekend. We had Payback, WWE's annual show every September. Usually it's the follow-up to SummerSlam, the epilogue, if you will. And we had AEW's All Out, which is the complement to last week's All In. It seems like just yesterday we were talking about All In, and here we are.
Because it was yesterday.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start with Payback. Payback emanating from the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I would like to note that JR is wearing a Steel City hat. And because JR, our guest host, is from Pittsburgh, tell us a little about PGH, sir.
It's the city of bridges. It has more bridges than New York, which is actually very shocking. So
that is interesting.
Yeah.
We talking like huge bridges, or are we talking about like little ones that like?
It's got a lot of
the
big
little
bridges.
rope ones, like from Indiana
little
Jones,
foot rope.
like just the little, yeah.
No, it's got like a lot of big bridges. Like not as like famous as New York, but like it's got pretty much you got the three rivers that run through it. So like just about to get to one side of the city or the other, you got to cross a bridge somewhere in there.
That's right, because Three Rivers Stadium is where the Pirates play, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and the Steelers back in the day.
Now, do some of these bridges have like the little houses that are over them as you go in them?
No.
Because I like those. They have those in New England and shit. Like,
no, they don't have any.
I enjoy those personally. There's one in North Carolina on the way to the casino that's just adorable, and I drive by it and I'm like, I want to go in there, but I don't. I think it goes to somebody's house. I don't want to like go up to somebody's driveway and it's a bad day. Not doing it. So yeah, we love Payback because it's the pay-per-view after SummerSlam, but also we had a special guest host this year, the one and only John Cena.
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him at all.
I missed him.
What I did see was the backstage interviewer, Lance Catamaran, from Southpaw Regional Wrestling, making his appearance and debut in a WWE premium live event. So big shout out to Lance Catamaran for coming all the way down to Pittsburgh from Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Very, very, very exciting. He actually, John Cena came out, started the show, did all the stuff, and he actually refereed the match between LA Knight and The Miz, where the better version of The Miz, LA Knight, takes the win over The Miz. JR, are we still red hot for LA Knight, or are we starting to sour?
No, we're still red hot. He still gets the pops. He still, gets the reaction from everyone with his yas and his gimmicks in the ring that looks like The Rock and looks like Steve Austin. So
you like it.
Everyone still loves it.
Justin, you look
yeah. No, I think it was cool. It's a good moment to have John Cena guest referee, right? I think that's cool. You can definitely tell that Hollywood is on strike, because like we haven't seen Cena at all. It's like he's got nothing to do. It's like he's on the phone with Vince and he's like, hey, can I come, or Triple H or whatever at this point. He's like, hey, can I come and play? I'm kind of bored. Like I got nothing to do. Like, let's just get in as much as we can. So we got him for what, the next month and a half or so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
7 weeks. 7 weeks of Cena. It's gonna
Yeah.
be fun. It's the late summer of Cena.
Yeah, I think LA Knight had to win here, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's no way that he didn't win to get his comeuppance on this or whatever. Do we think, Rob? Do we think that this feud is over? And then if we do, what is next for LA Knight?
I don't think this is over between LA Knight and The Miz because something that's great about The Miz is that he makes everybody look like $1 million. He's like a Dolph Ziggler. He's like a Ric Flair in a lot of ways. Ric Flair made people look good. I mean, Ric Flair established a lot of stars. He helped Sting get over, Luger get over, Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, Randy Orton. The list goes on and on. You know, there's all these people that Ric Flair helped establish and get over. And The Miz is kind of that way in this era because he's relatable, he's hateable, and at the drop of a hat, he can turn baby and we love him. So, you know, he's a very versatile on-screen character and a great foil for somebody like LA Knight, who is finally coming into his own after almost 15 years in the business himself. So
He's a gateway heel, right?
I like that term.
Yeah,
I like
that's a good term.
Gateway heel.
I feel like he's
big term.
kind of that gatekeeper for that, you know, next level, that intercontinental level, you know, the US championship level. I feel like that's, you know, they're using him. And because he's somebody that's been in that spotlight, he's been over for years now. Which is, he definitely wasn't always over. You know, he was definitely, you know, he was hated in not a good way for a long time. But you know, ever since the stuff, and I think either somebody shared it or I saw it a little bit ago, but you know, maybe it was you, JR, but like when ever since when they were doing the smacking talk and Miz came on and basically laid into Daniel Bryan.
Oh man. Yeah.
I feel like ever since that little run, he just skyrocketed and he's never kind of slowed down ever since then. He seems like every single thing that you put him in is entertaining.
Yes.
You know, I could draw comparisons to him and MJF.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
Which would be a beautiful match, and maybe one day we'll get it, and maybe we won't. Don't really know.
Maybe if Triple H will pony up money.
Yeah, we'll talk about MJF as we always do on the show here about the All Out in a minute. But JR, let's pivot here for just a minute. The LA Knight Miz match was great. LA Knight winning by pinfall with with his finisher. The what do they call that? What do they call that move?
Which one? The skull crushing finale or
blunt force.
The blunt force trauma. Yeah.
Oh, the LA Knights. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
The LA Knights move is the blunt force trauma, which is kind of like a reverse cutter, face buster. It's nice. But I want to go back to our opening match of the night, which was big time the man Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, who is probably one of the best women's wrestlers ever, in my opinion. Becky gets the win by pinfall in the cage, but for 20 minutes, those two went to the mattresses, as they would say. It was this and a gunfight. They go to the mattresses, and they put on probably the best match of the night, honestly. And this is probably Trisha's last match in WWE for a while, if not ever. How do we feel about the legacy that not only Trish is going to leave behind, but also that Becky's going to leave behind, and the beauty of this match, JR?
Trish is definitely, if you had the Mount Rushmore of women wrestlers, she's up there. She's definitely number one up there. Yeah, I mean, they put their bodies on the line the whole match. Like, they were doing stuff that you wouldn't think. Trish is what, like 40?
Trish is in her mid-40s.
Yeah,
I was gonna say she's got to be older than that.
I'm just saying she's at least 40.
She's
45
or 46, something like that.
Yeah, going off, like falling off the cage at the highest point that you can
47.
go with. Yeah, without highest point of the cage, falling off.
That
Did
that
that,
avalanche superplex spot off the top of the cage was
yeah.
ridiculous.
And then her bulldog that she, yeah, and the bulldog that she does, and she like lands on her tailbone. Like I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
that can't feel good at all.
No.
I feel like when you're that small, though, man, you just the gravity doesn't hurt you as much. You know what I mean? Like it seems like small people tend to have a little bit more mileage, or let's say points on their bump card. You know what I mean? Like you can take a little bit more. It's just impact. It's gravity at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? Like when a 275-pound man falls on his butt and his spine compresses, is a little bit different from a 125 girl. Girl that's literally a third of the weight or whatever.
Yeah,
But
you can just look at Ray. Ray's been bumping like that for forever.
perfect example. Yeah. Perfect example. Yep.
Meanwhile, Hulk Hogan can barely walk at 280 pounds.
Yeah. Did you guys catch the podcast on him on Joe Rogan?
No.
It's fantastic.
I started listening to it, and then I got out of the car and forgot about it. But
it was good.
It was a good start.
He buried a couple people passively, as he tends to do. But he's kind of choosing to control his own narrative, I guess, so to speak. But overall, I'm not quite done with it. I've got like another 15 minutes or something like that. But I thoroughly enjoyed it just as an off ramp. As far as the Trish Stratus thing, I think Trish is one of those people who, I think we're not going to see her. I don't know that we're going to see her fully retire. I think it's going to be one of those things, almost like The Undertaker, in a sense of where, maybe you see her once a year. She comes back, she does what she needs to do because she can. She's still healthy. And I thought she was older than 47. I didn't realize she was 47. Not that she doesn't look amazing, but just from doing the math on the years. So she must have been very, very young when she was in her heyday. So yeah, I think it's like that. Maybe, but I don't think that this is the last you're going to see of her.
No,
I certainly hope not, because her character on screen is one of the best. I mean, she's really intriguing to watch. She can work with anybody. But yeah, I mean, she made Becky look like $1 million. Trish, it's funny because she posted a picture. She had her arms up like this over her head, and you could see all the bruising and the scarring and all the stuff from the match. And it said, "Thank you, Becky," in the comment section, or on the caption. And I was like, man, like those, they really went hard for us. And it was the opening match of the show. And to give them 20 minutes and let them just go at it and do what they wanted to do. And they pretty much called their own, from what I understand, they called their own match the whole way through. It's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Did
you see that big welt on her head too?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That was massive.
Boom.
Yeah.
Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Damian Priest going against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the Tag Team Championship, in a Steel City street fight. Takes it out into the crowd. Of course, Dom's getting involved. Of course, Rhea's getting involved. And then Sami and Kevin come back in Crosby and Lemieux jerseys and start beating the hell out of them with hockey sticks. So that was fun. I enjoyed that personally. JR, with Kevin Owens potentially being injured again, was this the right decision to put the titles on the Judgment Day and kind of keep their story going? You got Finn. Finn's happy now because he's got titles. Damian's got titles. Everybody's got a belt now. Everybody's got a title. Damian's still got the briefcase.
Yep.
Where do we go? It's Monday night. Where do we go with the Judgment Day?
Yeah, it's good that the Judgment Day won, because you can't have them lose too many title matches or just matches in general. This kind of takes away from their luster of being the Judgment Day. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was good because KO's hurt and Sami's elbow still looks jacked up from when he has it, so they probably need some rest. I don't know where you go with the Judgment Day though. I don't know who the faces are on whatever would challenge them for the titles.
Well, here's the beauty part. And Justin, I know you're getting ready to say something. Here's the beauty part. Because they have both titles, they're now on both shows.
Yep.
So you've got Alpha Academy, if things don't go well for Gable, which I hope they do tonight. You got Alpha Academy. The Street Profits look hungry and they look better than ever. I would personally love to see the Street Profits take the titles off Judgment Day sooner than later. But Justin, I defer to you. With the Judgment Day, with Finn Balor and Priest being the new tag team champions after weeks of defeats, it almost seems peculiar to me with no momentum to just dump the titles on them, even though Sami and Kevin are injured. But who's the next set of challengers? Where do we go?
I think we're looking at transitional champions for this one. I think that, well, maybe transitional is a bad word. I think there's more opportunities of tag teams that can take the titles off of the Judgment Day than there were tag teams that you could have take off of Sami and Kevin. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I think that there's more options for storylines for this than there was Kevin and Sami. There's a lot of good tag teams out there that if you give them the belts over KO and Sami, it's going to destroy them because of how over Kevin and Sami are. I think the Judgment Day was a good call to do it. I think it's probably one of those things where because they're injured, they wanted to keep these belts online. And I think it's a good chance to give the Judgment Day their comeuppance and give Finn Balor his flowers and in that sense, because he's gotten the short end of the stick for quite some time and he needs something because at this point he looks weak, right? I think it's going to be a good opportunity to see them ultimately break apart, because I've been saying this for a while now. I think the Judgment Day, I mean, they are looking at their final Judgment Day here pretty soon. I do think that it's going to have to do with these titles and how that happens. I think you're going to immediately see a feud between Balor and Priest, you know, once these titles are gone. I think this is like the equivalency of a husband and wife that have been having marital issues that decide to have a kid to stay together. I think that ultimately it's going to blow up and it's going to be nasty for everybody. Sorry. But one thing I will say is that red and blue makes purple. And I think that they need to just unify these damn belts and make them purple. That's what I think.
I love it. Oh, I love that idea. I love it. Also, footnote, with this tag team championship win, Finn Balor is a Grand Slam champion. He's won all of them.
He is.
That's wonderful, because this is a guy who's been in WWE for almost 10 years after he departed from New Japan. And to be able to win all of the championships in a company is pretty special, even if, you know,
one of them was for 24 hours.
One of them was for 24 hours, to be fair. Yeah. So
can we pause for a second? Because still to this day, years later, my favorite gimmick was Kevin Owens and Jericho and how he was telling them, you know, after he had won the title for 2 days, he was saying, I'm the longest reigning Universal Champion in history.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
That is the absolute best gimmick that I've ever seen. I got a pop from that. Obviously there's an expiration date on that, you know, once it happens, but those first weeks or two when they kept talking about being the longest reigning champion, it was fantastic.
Justin, I'm going to ask you this question, and then I'll come to JR. Rhea Ripley and big mommy cool Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's World Championship. Rhea takes this win after about 15, 16 minutes. Raquel looks strong. Rhea, while she wins, doesn't look as dominant and strong as she normally does. Why is Raquel deserving of being the woman to dethrone Rhea Ripley?
I don't know that she's deserving, but I think just her sheer size alone tells a little bit better of a story, because Rhea is one of the larger women's that she faces. So for her to meet, you know, they don't necessarily have a monster for her to go like you would like Almost, or like back in the day with the Giant or something like that. So this is almost the equivalent of that, I would say. And then, you know, there's a lot of like pictures from them back in the day, the NXT days, you know, where they were like buddies and this and that. You can clearly see that, you know, she's a big woman, right? She's a big,
legit 6
strong
feet
woman.
tall.
And I think that as Rhea is slowly turning into this kind of like, female version of like the anti-hero, Stone Cold Steve Austin type thing,
Yeah.
I think that giving her a little bit more of a challenge allows that to kind of naturally more like organically happen over a period of time. And I think that's probably why they did it. As far as a match, the only thing I'll say is that like I watch all Rhea Ripley matches just to see how she pins girls at the end, because I think it's very ridiculous and awesome. So I'll leave it at that.
And we also love the tribute to China with the ring gear.
Yep.
Yes, man, I saw that on Instagram.
Very cool.
Didn't catch it immediately, but yeah, fantastic and spot on too. By the way,
that was dead on.
I don't know if they still have the same people, the seamstress that did it from China. I don't know how long those people have been there, but like spot right down to like the 3 stars on one side of the crotch to the other. Not that I was looking at the crotch at all, but yeah, fantastic outfit.
It's a good thing that most of our subscribers are dudes.
Are they? You think so?
I think so. I don't know. We haven't done the logistics on that yet.
Haven't done the demographics on that.
The demographics, right? Not the logistics, demographics.
Yeah.
JR, if not Raquel Rodriguez, then who? Who takes the title off of Rhea and when?
I don't know. Yeah, I can't think of anyone who's deserving of taking it off.
Here's a better question for you, JR. With Rhea, are we seeing a female Roman Reigns? Is it just going to be that long and that ridiculous until somebody comes up?
If it's not Raquel, yeah, I think we'll see a longer reign than most people would have with the women's belt. Yeah.
So who will it be that dethrones her, and why will it be Charlotte Flair?
Oh, please now.
She'll cash in her Charlotte in the Bank briefcase. She always does.
Charlotte's gonna go away, get her divorce, then come back, and then
cash in her Charlotte in the Bank briefcase.
How this is gonna go. If you ask me, I think it needs to be Liv Morgan winning the Royal Rumble and taking Rhea to the cleaners, because that kind of ties up a story from last year, because they were the last 2, weren't they?
Yeah. And she put out
was
a
it Liv
commission.
Morgan?
I think it was Liv Morgan and Rhea at the very end last year.
Okay.
And then Rhea put her out.
Yep. And then Raquel tried to avenge it.
Yeah, now she's injured. Raquel's trying to avenge the injury. So I mean, it's a David and Goliath story. It writes itself. Why not Liv Morgan?
Is there anybody in NXT that could come up?
There are 2 people in NXT that I think would make fine competitors for Rhea Ripley, but I don't think they can beat them. Beat Rhea. Roxanne Perez, I think, is a fine candidate, and Tiffany Stratton. But it looks like they're going with the Becky Lynch, Tiffany Stratton story right now. I don't understand why, but if it elevates Tiffany, I'm all for it, because that girl's a star in the making. It really doesn't give anything to Becky to win the NXT title, women's title, other than it's the only one she hasn't won. So, I mean, who knows what they're going to do with that. But time will tell. Rhea Ripley in 17 minutes defeating Raquel Rodriguez with the Rhea Ripley pinning combination that only she can make famous and legal. So,
where is Piper Niven?
Piper Niven is tagging with Chelsea Green to the tag champs.
Okay. All right. That's right.
We have the main event. We have Seth freaking Rollins and the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura. Beautiful storytelling. 26-minute match. Beautiful storytelling. Nakamura is just crushing Seth with these kicks and backbreakers and all these moves that are just tearing Seth down. Seth wins the match, but it's a Pyrrhic victory because he crawls out of the ring, he's clutching his back. Nakamura comes out after the match, takes him out from behind, blindsides him, kicks him in the back, knees him in the back, throws him through the stage. You know, we'll find out from Seth tonight what's going on. But I don't know, guys. I'm ready for the King of Strong Style to be world champion. What about you guys? JR.
Yeah, I mean,
Seth Rollins needs a break. Let
Yeah.
that kid heal up.
yeah, I mean, they talked about how his back was broken, well, 2 vertebrae were cracked or whatever it was, and they talked about the whole match. It was like, oh, I can't see how Seth's back's holding up to these kicks and stuff. I was like, okay, well, he loses, takes time off, rests, and come back and avenges his loss to Nakamura.
Got to make him look like Superman, don't you?
Yeah, but then like it never happened. I was like, okay, I don't know where it's going now.
They're just getting some more mileage on it. This thing's not over. Nakamura, I don't think they had it on the show, but it was caught by cameras afterwards. He attacked him after the match, right? Beat him up pretty good. So it's obvious it's not going. We're probably going to see like a Hell in the Cell or like something like that with some other pay-per-view, and they're going to turn this into a little bit of a longer program. I think Nakamura needs to come out at the end of it, and I think he probably will come out at the top at the end. But I think they need to probably make Seth Rollins look strong before he goes out, before he leaves. And that's probably why they keep talking about that back. I don't think that's the last you're going to hear about the back. I think that's probably going to be an overlapping narrative.
Well, we've got 4 weeks till WWE Fastlane in Indianapolis. So tonight, new story start. See where we go from there. Really good show. I would like to give this pay-per-view or premium live event 3.5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a really good show. I thought the production was good. The women's cage match was by far the best. So what do you guys think? What's our take?
I just want to know if we're going to do an over or under on the chances of your favorite wrestler in the world showing up on Raw tonight, now that he's out of contract with AEW. Rob,
why don't we just go ahead and talk about that? Last week at All In, Jack Perry did a spot on a car with real glass. He was suggested not to do that by a certain talent, and did it anyway. And he said, "It's real glass, cry about it." Did it on the broadcast. Goes backstage. They have a little scuffle. Jack Perry is suspended indefinitely by AEW, and Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, has been fired with cause. Tony Khan made the announcement at last night's All Out, or actually on Collision Saturday night, that CM Punk, Phil Brooks, would no longer be working for All Out. He was fired with cause. They do not have to pay him. We do not know what during the media scrum last night, which amazingly enough, there was no controversy. For the first time ever.
I wonder why.
Yeah, no shit. TK Tony Khan says that they would not disclose the terms of the firing, of the laying off, or whatever you want to call it, of Phil Brooks. So we don't know if he's going to show up on Raw tonight or not. I hope not. I think that CM Punk needs to take care of himself and do what's right for him and figure out.
I think CM Punk has always taken care of himself. I think maybe he should start to think about other people for just a fucking second. That's just my take on it. At the risk of being crass, I think I saw something today that said, I think it would be a great thing if CM Punk came to WWE, because then he could spread toxicity all through their whatever locker room, and then more people would leave and Tony Khan could get some top WWE people. I'm not saying that's my take on it. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I mean, will he show up on Raw? Probably not. But maybe he's got the bug into wrestle now, and maybe he's okay. But just ridiculous, and something that wasn't talked about on a lot of these things, but came to light because they actually have footage of this happening, right? That's the thing. They talked about, we're going to do the investigation. They did for a couple weeks, or they did for a couple days throughout this week, and then it was announced that he was that he was doing. Also, Jack Perry has been suspended indefinitely. He has not been fired, but
No,
he
that's
is
what I said.
suspended indefinitely. Okay, I missed that. I apologize. Which is just so we know, that's exactly what happened to Sammy Guevara when he had those incidences and they kind of got canceled. Yeah. Oh, well, no. When he made the comments about Sasha Bank that they caught from years ago in a podcast that he did, and he had to do the sensitivity training. That was during that's the terminology that they used. So it is very likely that we will see Jack Perry again in an AEW place, and especially because I haven't seen the tapes, but when they look back at the tapes, what was shown was that CM Punk was the aggressor, and then not only that, when it all happened, and Tony Khan was there, and he tried to break it up, and CM Punk lunged at Tony Khan, the owner of the damn company. To think that you're not going to get fired for doing that is ridiculous. So that's what it took. You had to literally threaten violence and put the fear of God in the man himself for him to fire you. So I don't see him coming back from this. And I don't think that there are very many people in the industry now that would want to see him or work with him. I think the number is dwindled, and the people that would want to work with him, I think, are at the place that he just got fired from.
Yeah. I don't care if he ever wrestles again. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for 2013. It was fun.
It's a good run.
Good run.
It's a good run. It's good.
JR, are we ready to talk about All In since we're already talking about AEW?
Yeah.
All Out, I should say.
Yeah, All Out.
All Out. It's funny because everybody on the internet was whining and complaining about All In being a week ago, All Out being last night, and they're all saying, "Well, shit, we've got 2 pay-per-views to pay for. It's $100, 50 and 50. Come on, they need to bundle them together or do something, because what's the point in having 2 back-to-back pay-per-views from one company? Couldn't they just shove it into one show?" Well, this show ended up being as good as All in my opinion, because you had some really good matches. We'll start with the opening match. We're not going to talk about the dark matches because they don't really matter. But you got Adam Cole and MJF, your tag champions, versus the Dark Order. You had Reynolds and Silver. They win this match by pinfall for the ROH tag titles. MJF gets a neck injury very early in the match. Adam Cole's working the Dark Order by himself. MJF does the heroic return. They win the match with a double clothesline. Everything's right in the world. It's a 14-minute match. Good, solid opener to the show. And everybody's happy because they get to continue the story with MJF and Adam Cole. JR, why are we so compelled? Why are we enjoying this friendship, this camaraderie between Adam Cole and MJF? Why is it so fun? Why are we so hooked?
It's like people who watch NASCAR to see the wrecks. You're waiting for the wreck to rear its head at some point. So we're just waiting for that breakdown between MJF and Adam Cole, wherever it's going to be. I think we hit on it last week about we're waiting for that turn, but we don't know when it's coming. So yeah, we're just waiting for it.
So Justin, with Adam Cole and MJF, better than you, baby, as the ROH World Tag Team Champions, with MJF as the World Champion. Now you've got a scenario where they win the match. Samoa Joe comes out for his match. And as MJF is walking up the ramp, they pass over the ramp, Joe shoves him as a callback to what was going on in 2016 in NXT when Joe shoved him out of the way.
Yeah, take over Brooklyn 2016.
That's right.
I'm not the same kid you pushed in Brooklyn, motherfucker. That is the tweet from MJF. I love this. They've been using that meme and showing that meme. It's been all over social media for months.
Yeah.
So for them to actually use that here as part of the build up for whatever's going to happen between them. First of all, we've been talking about it forever, man. Put Joe and MJF in a program and you can it's a blank check, right?
The promos alone.
Yeah.
Both of them are solid talkers.
Absolutely. But when you get them in the ring, they're both very technically sound and they're both really, really have a high ring IQ as far as just their ability to tell a story. I think is fantastic. Their ability to emote within the ring physically, I think, are both just fantastic. And I think we've just got some really, really fun, entertaining segments and matches coming up with them. And I hope that they do a trilogy. I hope that it's not a single thing. Do I think Joe's going to end up being the one that wins it? No, I don't. I think he's more of the staple in Ring of Honor, but I think it's a great rub for MJF to be able to go through him. Man, the whole going back on the whole Adam Cole and MJF thing, I think it's so fun to watch because we just weren't expecting it. You know what I mean? It's that dish that you ordered that was wrong, but then you decided to take it and it ended up being better than the thing that you thought you were going to get anyways. Like it's fresh. And you just got two of the best in the world at what they do, Chris Jericho. And I just think it's different. It's fresh. It's not what we expected, but it's that's why I love it. It's just variety, and it's not anything that I would have ever booked. And it just tastes like like a nice little fresh citrus, whatever spritzer on a summer afternoon. You know what I mean? It's refreshing.
It's like the Odd Couple.
Yeah,
it's very much so the Odd Couple. It's bosom buddies, It's
Stu and Felix.
It's grumpy old men,
Love
it's Lemon and Walt and
Jack Lemon and Walter Matthau.
Yeah.
Those dynamics work. Also, shout out JR. That was a seamless move from the Payback background to the All Out background. I like that a lot. That was nice. JR, why do we want this series of matches with Joe and MJF and not, I don't know, anybody else?
The promos would be epic. They both can talk. They both can come up with like different but cool ways of like tearing down the other person that like just their average person would not come up with.
I like that.
Then Justin, they can both wrestle too. So
yeah. Now, Justin, we got a lot of pieces in this puzzle because we got MJF and Samoa Joe. If that becomes the storyline, we got Adam Cole, we got Roddy, we got Taven, we got Bennett. So we've got the mini kingdom, we've got the Roddy
Switchblade,
kingdom, and now you got Switchblade, who was the new face of Collision on Saturday nights. Which big fan of the Switchblade. That guy's a star. He's got it all. But with this core group of people, this Ring of Honor bunch with Roddy and the Kingdom and Joe, and then you got MJF and Adam Cole over here. How are these pieces all going to fit? Because he's got to defend 2 titles. What do you do? Like, if you're booking this, obviously MJF's got to keep the Triple B. He's got to keep the belt. But how do you book the rest of this safely?
I don't know that he has to keep the belt. I think that he's so over, and I think that him slowly turning into a face, I think you can take it off of him and let him chase it for a little bit. And right off of that, honestly, that's my opinion. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. I'm not even saying that's necessarily what I want, but I'm just saying he's so versatile. And I hate like talking somebody up so much, you know what I mean? But like, I just really right now, and for the last year or so, I've just really had it for MJF, you know what I mean? And I think that anything you put him in, and I think that's why you're seeing him in everything. Tony Khan knows that. They know that, you know, viewership goes up every time he's on the ring, just like, you know, in the ring on camera. He's like Jericho, the demo god, you know, like at this point, he is the demo god. And I think Tony's just trying to put him on camera as much as he possibly can. I think that's all it is. I don't think there's anything more to it than that. He's just trying to get him on camera and use any excuse he possibly can.
Follow-up question for both of y'all. Do you feel like we're getting this saturation of MJF now because of the popularity of the character? Or is it because Tony wants to build the company around him because he's scared he's going to go to WWE in 24?
JR, you got an opinion on that?
Yeah, I think it's both. It has to be a little bit of both. You have to keep him happy, obviously, and he's like LA Knight. Fans still love him.
Yeah,
They love him when he comes out. They loved him as a heel. They love him as a face with Adam Cole.
yeah. Your biggest homegrown star in your company,
By far.
Yeah,
by far.
Yeah.
Forget about Kenny Omega. Forget about the Bucks. They've already been established. Talking about Maxwell Jacob Friedman. By far, he's bigger than Darby Allin. He's bigger than Jungle Boy. He's bigger than Guevara. You know, he's bigger than Ricky Starks. They're all your pillars. Even Britt Baker. These are your homegrown stars.
Yeah, but he's bigger than the non-homegrown stars at this point.
I understand that.
Right? I mean, he's transcended that.
Yeah, I'm just talking about these 5-6 homegrown stars of AEW, and then you lose your biggest draw to your biggest competitor.
Yeah.
In 8 months.
He keeps talking about it too, man. He keeps talking about it. And to me, since MJF is, I don't know, I feel like maybe as we get closer, we might see him pull back a little bit. But I'm almost scared. Not scared, actually. I think it's probably a good omen that we are seeing this much, because that tells me that Tony Khan is confident that he will be able to keep MJF, because you know, obviously if he's putting in all this spotlights and he's just everywhere, he's like Hulk Hogan in the 80s for WWE, right? He was the company. I mean, he is the company. I feel like hopefully that's happening because Tony Khan feels as though he has the ability to retain him. And you know, maybe they've already had a conversation like, hey, this is what's going to happen. You know, maybe there's some under the table thing between them. I hope so, because as much as I love WWE, and as much as AEW has fumbled other people, they have not fumbled MJF, and I am scared, very, very scared. And I don't want to actually use the word scared. I am very concerned and feel as though that WWE will fumble MJF.
100%.
Because I don't think they're going to put him at the level of Reigns. And in order for MJF to be really shine, they need to give him free reign. No pun intended.
Yeah.
And you can't make this guy a mid-card talent in WWE. You can't put him in NXT. You've got to start him on the main roster right away. He's got to be in a major feud. He's got to get the Cody treatment. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I feel like they would want to do that, because since he's homegrown from WWE, it's the whole like rub. It's like you got to make it here before you make it anywhere, kid. Right. And I feel like they're going to want to dumb down AEW by bringing their champ in and then having him a mid card. See, like, you know, like your best is just our mid card. I really feel like that.
Well, they sure as shit did to Bret Hart in WCW. Who's to say they won't do it in WWE? Well, I mean, time will tell. I guess we've spent a little bit of time on him. I want to talk about the Redeemer. I want to talk about Miro, the Bulgarian brute, if you will.
I'm excited about Lana. I mean, I'm sorry. What's her name now? CJ Perry.
So Miro defeats Powerhouse Hobbs in a fantastic match with the accolade submission. After the match, Hobbs beats down Miro. CJ, Miro's real life wife, comes out without her real life husband Bobby Lashley. Jokes. I got a giggle out of you. I see that. CJ Perry comes out. She hits Hobbs with a chair, and Miro gets up, cleans house, and then they have a stare down, and then Miro just leaves. And then CJ Perry is just standing there, like not knowing what to do, standing there with a damn chair, like a dope. And then Lexi interviews her in the back, and she just doesn't know what to say, and she leaves the arena.
I would too. Your wife's been screwing another dude. You know?
Kayfabe is alive and well, better than Bob.
How do we know it's kayfabe, Rob?
You know.
Bobby Lashley.
So JR with CJ Perry and Miro back on the same show, back in AEW together. It's the first time in 2.5 or 3 years since they've been on television together, since both of their departures from WWE. What do we do bringing them back together? Is it mindful neglect, or are we going to have a solid story where there's a reconciliation, a la,
Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth?
Yeah, Savage and Elizabeth. I couldn't get it out fast enough.
That would be fabulous. That would be fantastic. I feel like that's something
I'm here for weddings.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, with the cake.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something AEW would do. AEW is very big on paying homage to the past. I think that's they're definitely not above that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see her here. I feel like she's needed to be here for a while, and I'm just hoping that whatever they do, I've hoped that Miro finally gets his flowers. I've hoped that they finally start booking him right. I like the fact that he beat Hobbs clean before Lana came out, CJ came out, and that she didn't interfere with the match or anything like that. It was just something after the match, because it makes Miro look strong, and he needs to look strong because he has not looked strong since he's been there.
100%. We got Chris Statlander, the champion, the TBS champion, and we have Ruby Soho with Saraya. In 12 minutes, Statlander defeats Ruby Soho. Guys, when is Ruby Soho going to catch her big break?
Did she piss somebody off?
I don't know.
Is there some backstage?
Yeah, it feels
we're
like
not aware of.
I have been wondering that forever, because you look at the Outcast, and Toni Storm has been champion. Saraya is your current champion, and well deserved, because it's probably going to be her last chance before she has to retire again. But Ruby was in the Owen Hart tournament last year. Britt wins. She's in the Owen Hart tournament finals this year. Willow wins. She's had 3 shots at the title. Chris Statlander has never beat her in singles action. Beats her when it counts for the title. When the hell is Ruby Soho going to get her break? Give this woman a title. Give her a friggin' title. Something.
How long has she been with the company?
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It feels like it's been longer, but
even in WWE, Liv's held the title.
Yep.
Liv's held tag belts. When she
paid all that money for that Rancid song.
Yeah, he paid all the money for the friggin' song. Give the woman a belt. Just let her have something.
Tony's not great with that, because now Jack Perry paid all that money for
Baltimore.
The Jungle Boy.
They had Baltimore's Tarzan Boy.
Yeah.
Now they're using Beethoven's either 8th or 9th Symphony, but it's in the public domain, so you're not paying money for that one. You got to pay for the final countdown in Metallica. You got to have money for those. Now that CM Punk's gone, they got plenty of money for that shit.
Yeah, they don't have to play for Cult of Personality anymore. As an inland color, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So again, who has Ruby Soho pissed off? Like, honestly, who is she pissed off? Give this woman a title, please. For the love of God, give her a goddamn title. Moving on.
Yes. Yeah, I got nothing else to say with
Yeah.
that. I agree. Give her a title. I don't know why. I liked her. I thought that she was going to be the number one chick when she showed up, and she never was. She never was. So
I don't get it either. Guys, we got an odd quandary in AEW because we've got the Blackpool Combat Club. All 4 members are competing in matches at All Out. Danielson is going against Ricky Starks in a strap match. Great match, by the way. A lot of fun, a lot of high spots, a lot of beatdowns. You had Claudio and Wheeler going against Eddie Kingston and Katsuyori Shibata, who's one of my favorite Japanese wrestlers. And then you've got, in the main, you've got Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the international title. Now, you got all 4 members of the BCC. They're all heels, except for Danielson. So why is it so peculiar that Danielson just vacillates back and forth between being a face and a heel? Why do we have this when everybody else in the BCC are clearly the heels, except this guy, JR? Why?
I think it still just stems from his run with WWE. When he left, like, everyone wanted to see him wrestle again.
Yeah.
So like he still gets yes chance, even in AEW. But he still gets, when he does his yes kicks, he still gets a yes chance. Like, everyone just still loves him. So they don't want to see him heel, I guess. That'd be my only guess. Well, everyone else can, like, Moxley's always ruthless. That I don't see why Cesaro still gets. I figured he'd get more cheers, but other than that, they're all just heels.
Weird. Justin, thoughts?
I don't know. But losing connection there. Sorry. I will say that. Let's see. What were all the matches in the Blackpool Combat Club? You had
Danielson and Ricky Starks.
You had Moxley and Cassidy, and then you had
Claudio and Wheeler versus Eddie Kingston and Shibata.
Yeah, and that's all of them.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. They all won. I'll say that. That's interesting. They all won their matches. How often does that happen?
Yeah, not all the time, because typically Yuta is the one that takes the pinfall every damn time. It's just the way it goes. But what I like is that the thing that was good about the tag match with Claudio and Wheeler versus Eddie Kingston and Shibata is the ROH Pure Champion, which is a title that was made for him. I mean, obviously, when we had, John Gresham on a couple weeks ago, he was instrumental in bringing that title back, and we are thankful for it. So, Johnny, if you're listening, thank you for bringing back the Pure title. We love it. Shibata is the right champion for this. And Claudio is the Ring of Honor World Champion. So you got Kingston and Claudio, and then you got Wheeler and Shibata. Those are 2 fantastic matches that I would be invested in. So to give the BCC the win in the tag match, even everybody looked strong. Eddie looked strong as the Eddie is the New Japan Strong television champion. No, that's not right. That's Zack Sabre. But anyway, he held it. He's holding a title. I think it might be their open weight title. So
I think it is the open weight title.
Yeah. So Yuta's the only one that doesn't have a title, but Yuta held that Pure title for a moment for losing it. I think he lost it to either Garcia or Shibata. I can't remember. But
Yuta lost to Garcia. The open weight?
The Pure title.
The Pure title he lost to Garcia, I believe.
And then Shibata won from Garcia.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That sounds right. with Eddie Kingston having beef with everybody in the BPC, and it really truly Eddie Kingston has beef with everybody. It's just the best. But why on earth do we want him to be the ROH champion? JR, why is Eddie Kingston the next ROH champion?
He's kind of like Stone Cold. He's the everyday man. He doesn't look like a wrestler. He just some fat dude who
he's your drunk uncle at the barbecue that gets
Yeah.
that knows how to hit and take a hit.
Yeah, he's your fat uncle that can throw him.
He just shows up in a New York in a Patrick Ewing jersey and a pair of shorts and just goes and whoops everybody's ass and throws back fists.
Blair and DMX.
It's the same reason I think that we love John Moxley and Dean Ambrose in WWE, because he just came to the ring in a pair of jeans and a pair of work boots, like he just gotten off a job site.
Yeah,
just kicked everybody's ass and left. Just
I don't like him being in Ring of Honor just out of the Ring of Honor champ, just out of selfishness for myself, because I love Eddie Kingston. I've been big on Eddie Kingston, just about as big as I am on MJF for a long time now. And I feel like, I don't know why they took him off of TV and then they gave him the Ring of Honor. I'm not saying that he's not well suited for that, but I just don't consume as much Ring of Honor product as I would like to. I definitely don't consume as much as I do AEW, and I just like seeing him there. I think his story is amazing. I've said this 100 times in the podcast. I think it's this natural, organic thing, kind of like you were saying, JR. He's the everyman. I would say much more so than Stone Cold, right? Because Stone Cold was jacked out of his mind at 250 and the rattlesnake and this and that. Eddie Kingston really truly is the anti-hero everyman. He's just the pissed off. He's the what's the dude from God, what's the name of that? It's gonna bug me. I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore, from the Network, the movie The Network. I forget his name. But the announcer that, he's just that every man that's just, he's lost it. He's Michael Douglas and falling down, right?
Oh,
he's
yeah.
He's just, it's the last thread. It's the last thread. I'm just going to kill everybody. I can't take it anymore. And I think it's so relatable, and he's just so genuine and believable. And again, we've said it 100 times in the podcast. There's no need to just beat a dead horse, but I would just like to see him more on AEW, and I feel like he just doesn't win enough. He just doesn't win enough.
Yeah, that's kind of like how Finn is before that tag team title win.
But Finn got his, Finn had a run. You know what I mean? Finn had a run. For God's sakes, he was a Universal Champion, the first one ever.
Yeah.
And had he not have hurt himself, he would have been one, I think, for a long time. Eddie's never gotten a run. I know they're trying to give him one in ROH. I just wish that he would be up there more in the limelight in AEW. Just my opinion. I may not answer the question, but just my opinion.
Next match on the card, 30-minute banger. Kenny Omega, Konosuke Takeshita with Don Callis. Takeshita wins this match by pinfall after some trickery and some thievery and some tomfoolery. Who has Kenny Omega's number? Konosuke Takeshita or Don Callis? JR.
I'd probably go Don Callis, because he just knows him a whole lot longer. He knows what buttons to push on Kenny to make him go not be as focused as he needs to be.
Yeah.
Which he probably told Takeshita to this: if you do this to him, it'll work. If you don't do it, you're gonna be in trouble.
It's so interesting to me how Kenny has not been able to win because of Don Callis. And it almost makes me wonder if we're going to have an opportunity for Kenny to get his hands on Don Callis in some form or another, whether it's like a shark cage match or a 2-on-1 or whatever. But his uppance must come at the hands of the cleaner, Justin.
Yeah, you have to let that pay off some, right? I mean, to say he's been a thorn in his side is an understatement of the freaking century. He's completely been his foil. And you know, the only reason why he has lost any of the matches that he's lost and been on this horrible run, the worst run of his career, I think some people would say, right? Just from a statistical standpoint, is because of Don Callis, and kind of like that storyline of he's always had Don Callis on his side, and now that he doesn't, he's nothing. I just don't know where the hell they're going with it. I mean, Don Callis isn't going to have a match with Omega, so you know, where do they go with this story? You know, do they switch it at the right time, and then Don Callis comes out, and it was because, you know, they used to talk about how Don Callis would always talk about when he was with Omega, how he's 10 steps ahead of everybody else. And just when you think that we've got kind of like the whole Piper thing, just when you think you got the answer to the answer, I change the question kind of thing. Right. I think that, you know, maybe that's the case. And maybe once Kenny's doing this, Don comes and Don ends up being the reason why Kenny's the champ again. You know, I don't know, but I'm confused as to where they're going with this. I just hope to God that it ends up well, because right now it just seems like a perpetual black hole for Omega.
100%. JR, final word on Omega and Takeshita.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Don get his upcomings, per se. Just waiting for that to happen.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll get another scar on the other side of his head to match the one he's got on.
That scar is nasty.
That sucks. Can you imagine being a bald man and you have the perfect skin, and then out of nowhere you've got a scar that's 5 inches long on your forehead? Like,
I mean, it's legitimately a supervillain scar.
It is 100%. It's a Blofeld scar, except it's not over the eye. It's just, you know, could have been. That's scary. Main event: Moxley, Orange Cassidy, singles match for the AEW Intercontinental Championship. With the win, this would have been OC's 40th successful title defense of the Intercontinental title, a title that he won from Pac 329 days ago. Unfortunately for Orange Cassidy, he is not successful. John Moxley is the international champion, not the Intercontinental. This is not WWE. Moxley is one of these guys that doesn't need a belt. And now it seems Orange Cassidy is one of these guys that not only doesn't need a belt, but also needs a fucking break. Because he's been their workhorse. Think about 40 title defenses in almost a calendar year. For comparison, Roman Reigns in 3 years has not defended the title 40 times.
He hasn't defended the title 14 times.
Now, while Roman has beat a who's who of WWE superstars, Orange Cassidy has defeated a who's who of AEW superstars. And it seems to me like I understand giving Moxley this title because BCC needs a leader with the title, I guess. But you got a guy who almost held a title for a year. That is remarkable. In the landscape of pro wrestling as a whole, especially in the last 25 years, the Attitude Era, titles were hot potatoed all the time. And the AEW World Championship had been hot potatoed between CM Punk and Moxley, and CM Punk and Moxley and Jericho and blah. You had an opportunity to have a 1-year title reign for a guy like Orange Cassidy. But with the injuries that have built up with the hand, the back, with the knee, the shoulder, always taped up, is it time for Orange Cassidy to take a well-deserved break from the industry, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, look, this time last year we were saying the same thing about Moxley. Right?
True, 100%.
We're saying the exact thing about Moxley.
And he never got his break. He never got the break. He had to do what he had to do.
Very short one. Yeah, it didn't really get anything. I mean, does Orange Cassidy deserve a break? Yeah. Does he want one? With as hot as he is, and in an industry where you have to kind of strike while the iron's hot. And he's been on this great run, and he's still young. I don't know that he wants one. It's a cutthroat industry, and if you've got a place and you leave, you lose that place in line. Now if he leaves and comes back, of course he's going to be red hot when he comes back. But who knows? Maybe he doesn't want to leave. He's a young guy. He's a smaller guy. We just got done talking about how those smaller guys have a little bit longer bump card than some of the bigger guys. I don't know how many of his injuries are works and how many are shoots, but I wouldn't be upset to give the guy a break. But I love watching him on TV. You know what I mean? So
Same. JR, what is Orange Cassidy's next move?
I don't know. Like
probably take a nap.
Yeah.
Lazy.
Like if this was WWE, they would have had him defended 40 times. They like their streaks.
Sure.
He would have made it to a year, but it's not. So I'm not sure. Yeah, if he's legit hurt, he needs to go rest.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean,
do we know if he's legit hurt? Is it being announced?
I have no clue.
Work or shoot? Or...
Yeah,
they haven't said anything. AEW's always been tight-lipped about injuries unless they leak out in the public. It's rare. It's rare that they get the injury report. We'll see. I mean, I certainly hope the guy heals up, or if he's beat up, then he needs to take his time. I think that's the move. Young guy. I mean, I think he's only in his early 30s, if that. So, take your time, dude. Get better. Get healed up.
So guys, we are an hour and a half into Raw. Not to interrupt you, Rob. I just want to say, and there is no CM Punk yet. So just want to.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Got it on in the background over here.
CM Punk watch 2023.
Yeah. I want to be. If it happens, I want it. I want to be on. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
I've got it queued up on the TV. I got through the first segment. Speaking of first segment, let's touch on that and then we'll be done. Cody Rhodes was on the Grayson Waller effect during Payback, and he said that I don't know if I'm going to regret this or not, but I got somebody to the Raw roster. Please, everybody, welcome main event Jey Uso. Jey Uso comes out, everybody's doing the hand thing, and then he comes out on Raw tonight. And Sami comes out and they do the thing and he does the hands and everything and the crowd's pumped up and they're popping like crazy. Let me ask you this. Go JR first. I want Justin's opinion on this too. It was kind of ominous what Cody said about, I don't know if I'm going to regret this or not, but here comes Jey to Raw. So now, who's the bigger babyface on Raw? Is Cody still number one, or is Jey Uso number one? Who's the biggest?
I'm sorry, JR. You're
no, you can go ahead.
No. I forgot that you. Yeah, go. I
was gonna say Cody's still number one, but Jay's probably like a 1B.
1B. I like that.
Yeah, 1A, 1B. The other thing I can think of is maybe Jay joins. Well, Roman shows up and fucks around with Cody again, and that's why he means like maybe I'll regret this because maybe somewhere down the road, maybe not 2 months from now, but 6 months from now, Roman pops back up in Raw and beats up Cody.
Maybe Justin.
When he said maybe I'll regret this, I mean, are we sure that that's what he means? Like, is Jay on Raw now? Is he not on SmackDown?
He is on Raw.
Yeah, he appeared this. Yeah, kick off Raw.
He appeared, but
no,
he is
on Raw because remember 3 weeks ago he quit the Bloodline, he quit WWE, he quit SmackDown, he left, and now they brought him into Raw. So he is officially a Raw superstar. He has his own theme song. Jimmy has his own theme song, and it's set. These two are separate. They have pulled these two away from each other like telomeres.
I don't know who comes out on top if they end up feuding, but I don't like it. I don't think it's good for Cody if he feuds with Jay. Even if Cody is a bigger face than Jay, I don't think it's good for business.
I don't see them crossing paths other than to have tag matches and help each other. But the question remains, who's going to be the bigger face in 6 months when the Royal Rumble runs around, the WrestleMania season runs around? Who's going to be the bigger draw? Is it going to be Jay or is it going to be Cody? Who's going to be the bigger draw? Because those are your two baby faces. That's number one. That's number two. Seth is number three. And then Kevin and Sami are 4 and 5, respectively. So, like you said, is it 1A or is it 2? Or is it 1A and 1B? I think it's 1B.
Yeah, I would say that. I think Cody still has enough steam.
But are we gonna see a flip-flopping changing of the guard? Who's gonna get the better yet? I'll ask you a better question. Who's gonna win a title first?
Well, that's the thing, is they both want the same thing, right? So they're gonna have to go up against each other, and somebody's gonna win, and that's what my concern is because I don't think that should happen. I don't think that they need to do that. I think that's going to kill one of their steams. They both got a bunch of steam right now. And I feel like when you put them in a program with each other, it's going to kill one of their steam. And I don't think that's necessary yet.
And this is why we hate it when they book things into a corner.
Yeah, I think it is kind of booked into a corner.
Yeah.
And maybe that was Cody's nod, when he said that. Maybe that's what he felt. Maybe he was going a little bit off script.
Yeah. Well, we will continue to.
Also, Shinsuke Nakamura's outfit is absolutely ridiculous on Raw right now.
You love Nakamura, future world champ. Book it, cowards. Give Seth a break. Let Nakamura be champ for a month or two.
Give him the body paint, though.
Yeah.
Give him the old school New Japan body paint.
Oh man, that'd be so good. Oh,
and his old music back.
Heel Nakamura is the best. God, it's the best. The face paint, the devil paint that he had. Oh man, the just with the teeth on the.
It just reminds me of Tong Po from Kickboxer. Like I've always said that. Like
that's fair.
He should be Tong Po from Kickboxer. He has that. If you book him like that, he is a very believable final boss.
You have had the hot take analogies all night, and I salute you, sir. Fantastic. There's nothing left in the glass. Well, there's a sip, so there you go. Steve. Well, guys, we're gonna keep on this story as it develops. Jey Uso is on Raw. MJF is our champion. Seth Rollins is our champion, and Damian Priest is still Senior Money in the Bank. It's a lot of fun. Stick around. It's gonna be a good time this fall. We got Survivor Series coming for you in November. That's the last big show of the year. We got Fastlane next month, and then AEW's got a show to which I cannot remember the name, but that's going to be fun too. We'll be covering
it Full Gear, right? Probably Full Gear.
Maybe it is Full Gear. I think you're right.
I thought they had a Japanese one in October.
Or Revolution, is Forbidden Door coming up?
No, it's like
that one.
It's like a brand new one that TK announced right before.
Wrestle Dream in Seattle.
Wrestle Dream. Yeah,
that's going to be a good one. That'll be a good one. I don't know when that is, but that's going to be a lot of fun.
Must be late October, I believe.
Sweet. That'll be fun. Well, we will make sure that we cover it all for you guys. This is Better Than Broadway. Coach Rob, Justin, and JR saying happy wrestling, everybody. Have a good night. Check us on the YouTube. Check us on the Spotify, the Amazon, the Apple Podcast, wherever your podcasts are. Fellas, give me a scissor to the middle. Good night, kids. Have a good one. Play us out.
Play us out. What does that mean?
Play us out. Play us out. Ryan, play us out.
We're doing it live.